Hey guys, now you can follow me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/UltraMaximusReviews.
Oh, hey, look, it's Groot. That is not Groot. You look like a baby shit on your head. You look like a runny nose. You look like somebody vomited on your head. You look like an STD. Ultra Maximus back with another retro review for 31 horror toys in 31 days. And today we're going to rewind it all the way back to 1990 with the Kenner Swamp Thing camouflage log with net capture, I think. I can't remember the exact name of the figure, but he's basically the tree Swamp Thing from the old 90s Kenner line. And the cool thing about this figure is that he's got the color change paint, which you can see right here. It actually still works today. And I'll show that off later in the review, because you have to get him cold to get him to go all brown and then warm him up, and then the neon green snot moss will appear. Now, I love a good 90s figure, and Kenner had a bunch of them. The Swamp Thing figures were always some of my favorite. I remember seeing them on the shelves at KB Toys back in the day. And I always thought it was goofy that they made a cartoon line and a toy line out of such a dark movie. And a pretty darn dark comic, but, you know, he's pretty cool, I think. I've always liked Swamp Thing. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the weapons for this guy. I found him at my local flea market, the Emporium 31, in the 5 for 5 bin, so I only paid $1 for him. So, you know, I can't complain. Now, articulation on this figure is pretty limited because, well, it's from 1990. He has articulation in his arm there. This arm, which is very, very stiff. This leg can kick up that far, and then it kicks all the way back that far, and that's it. That's the only articulation that this guy's got. And yeah, it's a 90s figure. So taking a closer look at the figure itself, I love the sculpt on this toy. He kind of has this, tree look going on. He's hollow. There's all these crevices going everywhere in the figure, yet he still looks like Swamp Thing. I like the idea that Swamp Thing can turn into multiple types of plants, and this kind of looks like a mangrove type of tree with all the holes in it. Just all the branches and roots just going around all over the place in the swamp, which is very cool. The fact that it's got the color change paint that still works 30 years later is even more impressive to me. I definitely like it, and I don't know, it's just a fun version of Swamp Thing. So looking at the midsection of the figure, the bulk of the figure is this really dark brown with the color change coming down to the midsection. But the arms and the legs are really cool to me because it really, really does show off all the holes and how hollow it is. Just very cool. Again, it reminds me of like the mangrove type of trees and the roots down into the swamp, which is very, very fun, very cool. I mean, this kind of is Groot 30 years ago, right? Definitely fun. I'd love to see an updated line of these figures, kind of like what Nika did with the Alien figures with Kenner back in the 90s. And finally, taking a look at the legs of the figure, again, love the sculpt, love the design, love all the open holes in the figure itself. And I love the fact that his feet kind of branch out like the bottom of a tree, and he really looks like he's rooted into the ground, as well a Swamp Thing should. It's definitely very cool. I don't know, I see him like when he lifts off the ground, pulling some roots up out of the dirt as he walks. I think that'd be really, really fun. But yeah, it definitely says tree, and that's what this figure is supposed to showcase. For comparison, here we have the Camouflage Swamp Thing with the Terminator. It's actually the Kenner Hot Blast Terminator. I want to say he's from 1992 or 1993, and it's kind of cool to see another Kenner figure next to Swamp Thing here. The Terminator's a little bit bigger. They upscaled the size of the toys by the mid-90s, and, well, that's okay. Now, the cool thing about this figure, aside from the sculpt itself, is actually the color change paint. There are a lot of Hot Wheels that have that out there, and every once in a while you get an action figure like that. This happened to have been one of them, and I'm amazed that this thing works like darn near 30 years later, which is very, very impressive. So this is what it looks like when it's under normal temperature, but when you get it cold, if you pour cold water on it, or if you put him in the freezer, then he will change to a brown color, which is cool. And then when you put your fingers on him and add warm water, he gets this bright mossy green. So let's go ahead and check out that color change feature. I'm going to go ahead and throw old Swampy here in the freezer and chill him out for a little bit and use the magic of video to advance time. So let's go ahead and see what he looks like when he's chilled out. Alright, so here we have Swamp Thing with the color change paint, as I've had him in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, and it's totally a different color, which is very, very cool. Just kind of a close-up of that. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, this thing's like 30 years old, but when you put your finger on it like this, ta-da! Look at that. It turns bright green, which is very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, the fact that that still works after all these years is very fun, very nice, and yeah, that's just, I don't know. There's something about it that I like. There's the back of it. So yeah, it's fun. I like it. Look at it. It still works. And after all these years, very, very cool. So the fact that the color change pattern is still there, you know, that's, again, just a testament to the quality of some of these toys that went into production back in the 90s. So is the Camouflage Log Swamp Thing from 1990 something that you want in your Swamp Thing collection? Well, you know, if you're a Swamp Thing completist, you probably want all the figures from the 90s, from Kenner. They were definitely a lot of fun. They were very gimmicky. But Swamp Thing is one of those characters that can pull the gimmick off. Like, in this version, he looks kind of tree-ish, which is cool. It's something different and something I can see the character doing. I love the paint, the color paint change. The fact that the gimmick still works today is very cool. I wish I had all the weapons to him, but I paid only $1 for him, and, you know, he looks pretty cool as is. Again, I'd love to see, like, DC Collectibles do a new line of Swamp Thing figures as an homage to those old Kenner toys, or maybe even Mattel in the DC Multiverse. You know, like Nika did with the Alien figures. They kind of did modern versions of those old 90s toys. It'd be a lot of fun. This is just, I don't know, there's something about the way this one looks I just adore. So if you see him, he's on the cheap, and, well, he'd make a great collection in a vintage 90s toy shelf. So there he is, the Camouflage Log Swamp Thing for 31 horror toys in 31 days.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like us on Facebook, and look for more videos in the future.